All right, let me step in here as an adult and try to make some sense out of all this. Because apparently that's very difficult for others to do. We just had this last caller. Man, he's a dumb guy. He doesn't have the intellectual capability. I'm still supporting him. I just don't think he's got the... Rush, he had 10 days. He had 10 days to prepare. The Politico gave him 10 days. That is apparently now the line that's out there. Herman Cain had 10 days. The way I see this, and I haven't made a choice for president, and I don't know what happened here. I am just reacting like all of you to this rat-tat-tat machine gun type release of news. It seems to me that Herman Cain is caught between two impossible tasks. He's running for president, and he has to say something, but there is a legal arrangement sealing the agreement which prevents him from knowing the details of what transpired outside of what he actually recalls. He hasn't seen it. What would 10 days have bought him? He's not allowed to see this. The investigation was done outside his knowledge for legal purposes. The agreement is sealed. The woman got $35,000 or $45,000. Now, I think if somebody's raped, they don't settle for $35,000 or $45,000 even back in the 90s. But that's just me. He didn't have the agreement. The agreement's under seal by agreement of the association and the accuser. His campaign said that they asked Politico for specifics of the allegations and more information, but Politico provided none. And we've played sound bites of our old buddy here, Jonathan Martin, out there saying, okay, we put the story out, now it's up to Herman Cain to explain it. I don't understand that. Widen it up to the accuser to explain things. So whether he had 10 days or 100 days, the information he didn't have wouldn't have changed, and he didn't have it. But he is running for president, and he can't just leave it at that. So he said what he remembered about the allegation. He added to it as he recalled more about it, which was many years ago. And people think that he didn't actually casually remember this. They think he's goofing up in telling people what he remembered. They think he's trying to explain as little as he can. That isn't working, so he adds something to it every day, when it could well be that he is remembering stuff. I doubt this was on his radar at all before this all hit on Sunday night. So now this is being almost universally proclaimed out there as being a demonstration of incompetence. But I don't know what he can do when he doesn't have the agreement and when he's under seal. And when there is a confidentiality agreement that says it can't be discussed. So he's out there. He sends his guy out there to attack the Perry campaign. There's no evidence for that. And I don't know who leaked this. And as I said when the program started, I don't even think that matters unless it isn't true. If it is true, who cares in the end who leaked it? Really, folks. It's going to come out anyway, so what does it matter? You might want to say, well, Rush, that's the 11th commandment of Reagan. Republicans don't tackle her. Oh, give me a break. This is big leagues. This is primary season in a Republican presidential nomination process. You don't think these guys are going to do this kind of stuff to each other? It's crazy. It happens intra-party all the time. Now, what he has said, again, is that he doesn't have all the information. He's legally prevented from getting it. He had recused himself from any investigation. He was not a party to the settlement. And it all happened in the mid-'90s or late 90s or something. You know, every one of the presidential candidates are now getting isolated with the intention of destroying, at best, their reputations with hair-trigger scrutiny. And yet every one of these candidates of ours is superior and of greater substance than the lightweight in the White House sitting there today, who can barely read the return address on an envelope, and none of them have sealed their education records like he has. Herman Cain's not trying to deny where he was educated. We got all kinds of people from Herman Cain's past coming up. Yeah, I knew Herman. I didn't like Herman. I did like Herman. There is nobody from Obama's past that comes forward. Yeah, I knew Obama. We haven't heard from any old girlfriends. We are witnessing here the attempt that appears to be pretty successful to take out every Republican candidate with this story. When you get right down to it. And that is starting to irritate me profoundly. Every one of them now is in the crosshairs. Now, there's a Forbes magazine piece on this. As for the story itself, Cain campaign officials complain Politico's piece was an ambush. When Politico's Jonathan Martin, contacted Cain, campaign spokesman J.D. Gordon, late in the day on October 19th, Gordon said that Martin didn't supply any details or documents that would allow the campaign to evaluate the claims. And this goes to the 10-day business. Okay, Politico says, we got you, bud. You got 10 days to respond. You got me on what? We don't have anything. We're not going to show you anything. But you got 10 days. Sexual harassment. There were no names. There were no locations. No exact descriptions of what Cain is alleged to have said or done, and there still aren't. Best I know. Does anybody sitting here right now know what he did? Obama had 20 years to respond to Reverend Wright, and all he could come up with was, I wasn't listening. Bill Ayers? No. I didn't start my campaign. This is some local weed in a neighborhood. Wrong. He started his political career in Bill Ayers' living room. Now, Gordon, the Cain campaign spokesman, this is from Forbes, Gordon and the campaign say they couldn't respond because they had no idea what they were responding to. Gordon even begged the Politico editor-in-chief, John Harris, to send him copies of any documents with the names blacked out, and Harris refused to do that. What we have here, we've got shoddy reporting from the Politico, and this pajamas media. I hate saying this. I really hate saying this, but this is shoddy. They report that Cain and a woman got in a cab together, and then they have to... Nope, sorry, nobody saw that. Well, yeah, a couple days later, they say that, issued a correction. Cain and the woman went to Cain's Crystal City apartment, where she spent the night and woke up alive. And originally said in his bed, then they had to correct that. Nobody knows what he did. We know everything Bill Clinton did, including lying about it to a grand jury. We know everything Ted Kennedy did. We know everything John Edwards did. They are heroes. We know everything Elliot Spitzer did. He got a TV show. We don't know what Herman Cain did, and they're telling us, even people on our side, he's letting me down. I don't think it's presidential. He doesn't know how to handle this. Bill Clinton does. John Edwards does. Ted Kennedy knew how to handle it. Is that our model? We still don't know what he did or didn't do. And that's the only reason I am withholding any judgment on any of this. And gosh, I would think that anybody would have a brain would be waiting to find out some specifics here.